It's Saturday, the 15th of August, 2020. I'm here at the BP at Archerfield with owner, driver, industry legend, Sensational Transport, Ugly.
How you going, people? My name's Chris Duncan, Ugly from Sensational Transport, and I've just been sort of talking about doing this for a while. And Steve and I have caught up today, and we're just going to have a bit of a yarn, and I'm going to put my thoughts out there, and hopefully make it a bit better for everyone, not just myself, but every owner driver in Australia. Yeah, it's just a sort of general conversation type sort of thing. Hopefully it's of help to everyone, including the government, NHVR, anybody else that's out there that wants to take an interest in the situation. But it is in dire straits. The whole industry is.
That's why my brain has broken, and I'm now compelled to come and spend my Saturday speaking with you to make everyone wise about what it is that we do and you do, that people don't understand, that it's got to the point where it's just no longer sustainable and it has to change.
Yeah, the situation is now, look, as far as there's certain things that we can mention, there's certain things we can't mention. But when it comes to providing for our families, our livelihood, trucks, trailers, drivers, whoever, it's not sustainable. You've got price of fuel, registration, insurance, wear and tear, and all the little things that happen out there on the road that just cost consumable amounts of money.
How many years have you been owner driver now?
5 years now, this time round. Yeah, I was an owner driver back in the 80s, so last century. Seems funny, but last century. Did that for a while, and then things changed and walked away from that. Went and worked for a couple of different people, and worked for another bloke. And at the end of that, I just went, nah, no more. I'll go and buy another truck and do it myself. That's what I did. Started off with a 604 Kenworth, carting grain. Did that for a couple of years, and, well, let's put it this way. The rates and the dollars were not justifying carting that amount of grain around the countryside. So I parked everything up, had a couple of weeks off, thought about what I was going to do, went out and hired a drop deck trailer and set sail. And away I went. 2 years later, sold the tippers. And this year it's rained and we're going to have a crop. So, yeah, but what do? You just move on.
How much is the coronavirus restrictions limiting your work? Because you're not crossing into New South Wales and Victoria. So is your workload diminished because of that? Or is it just across the board that everyone's quiet?
Personally, myself, I think the whole transport industry is in disarray 100% more than what it was before coronavirus came along. Before coronavirus, we were just treated like scum. We're the criminals of Australia. I believe that if it wasn't for truck drivers, Australia would stop. That's one of the oldest sayings around. It's been around for 40 years.
The 23 million people on Australia's island rely on the 208,000 truck drivers to keep them sustained.
208,000 truck drivers. Does that include companies, owner drivers, everyone?
That's from Pauline Hanson. That was 208,900 truckies and 46,000 coachies Australia-wide.
Righto. Yep. Look, if my answer to that is, if every owner driver was to stop and have 2 weeks holiday, just all at the same time, what would happen? This country would stop, because Lynn Fox, Lindsay Brothers, toll. There's no way they can sustain the transport demand with what they've got. They all use subcontractors, right? They all use owner drivers. Owner drivers, if it wasn't for the big companies, right, they wouldn't need the owner drivers, okay? The big companies have got that much work that I figure if they've got that much work, they go and buy their own trucks, put a driver in it, and they do their work, righto? As far as taking on an owner driver to do their work at a very, very diminished rate, like fuel money, and that's what it is. It is fuel money, paid by the kilometre, and they've worked it out to the point where if you've got to do 1,000 Ks, it's going to cost you $700 to do that drive in fuel, but they're going to pay you $800. So you're going to make $80 after you pay your fuel. You've got to pay your truck payment, you've got to pay your registration, pay your insurance, wear and tear, a set of tyres for one of these things, truck and trailers. Look, depending on your tyre brand, steer tyres can be $1,000 each. Drive tyres can be $3,500 to $4,000 for a set of 8. For a trailer like this, you're looking at $3,500 to $4,000 for a set of tyres. And that's a lot of money. Okay, then you've got your brakes. Like the list is endless. It's multiple thousands of dollars.
No one in Australia, except for me and Jerry Brownsar and Mr. Tim Squires that worked on the rates calculator, know exactly all the factors and all the inputs. Well, going back then to 2016. Yep. But it's an equation from hell, and people can argue a headwind, and people can argue run one clean skin and run recap just to save money. And those are the arguments that the corporate barristers tried to give us in the RSRT, that a owner driver would be cheaper because he's paid his truck off, so he should be on a cheaper rate.
No, well, if that's the case, then if they own their truck and the truck's 5-year-old or 6-year-old, then at that stage of its life, you're having little niggly problems like minor breakdowns, starter motors, alternators, intercoolers, brakes, boosters.
Everything wears out on a truck, everything.
Absolutely. Even lawyers, okay? If you take a lawyer, they say if an owner driver owns his truck and he hasn't got high overhead payments to pay off and all of that kind of stuff, that's fine, okay? But what about a lawyer? Well, a lawyer's earned that much money either defending or representing people, right? Well, they should be able to do their job a little bit cheaper now because, well, they own their multi-million-dollar mansions in Vaucluse or whatever in Sydney and Brisbane, wherever.
Their rate doesn't go down once they pay their HECS debt off, does it?
That I don't know.
Well, you can guarantee then a lawyer is never going to drop his rate.
Absolutely not. If anything, they'll charge more.
Ugly. It's time for a shower. Yeah. It's raining on us. We're going to have to cut it short. Okay. How are we going to get these drivers involved in this Senate inquiry, mate?
Look, I think the only way to get every driver involved in this Senate inquiry is for every driver to speak up, be heard, be responsible, be a proud Australian owner driver, truck driver, whatever it takes. Because if we don't do something in a very short period of time, there's going to be a lot of us that are not going to be here.
I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that when they throw this report in the bin, that if we don't go on strike, I'll be quitting the union and quitting the industry altogether, and they can get fucked and the Indians can have it.
Yeah, look, I don't know what I'll do if I'm not driving trucks. Probably go back to the farm, but, you know, that's something that I don't really want to do.
Well, that seems to be another great industry that the government are looking after. So why don't we all just get out of trucking and go into farming soon as they look after the farmers as good as they look after the truck drivers?
Well, we've had fires, we've had floods, we've had droughts. We get flood assistance, we get drought assistance, we get fire assistance, but we don't get owner-driver transport assistance. If anything, we can go and take $10,000 out of our superannuation as an owner-driver. That's our money, righto? And the only reason we can get it is because it's our money. But it took this coronavirus for us to get it, okay? So, but if we were normal under hardship, we got Buckleys, we got nothing. We just got to battle on, try and survive the best we can.
Thanks for your time, Ugly. The weather's shit and it's shut us out. Yep. So we're going to have to do this again.
Much appreciated. Thanks, Steve. Have fun. Be good. Be safe.
All right, everyone. Transport Inquiry Podcast. We're getting pissed on rain here.